Hey there everyone, my name is Jasmine Sky and I'm here today to do another fun tag video. It's been a while since I've done a tag and this is one I have not seen in the AuthorTube or BookTube space. This is more of a fandom tag. I am going to be doing another writing vlog soon though, so expect that coming in the future. And then I will be doing some videos setting up for Nano, I think again this year because NaNoWriMo. It's one of my favorite things. So that's what you can expect from this channel in the future. But to tide y'all over till my next writing vlog, here is this fun tag video. I'm gonna expose myself like I did when I did my tier list of romance tropes video and expose myself in terms of fandom content. This is all of the most iconic and popular ships based on Tumblr and AO3 statistics. So if you're not in the fandom space, AO3 is like the main fanfiction website nowadays, and Tumblr is still just a big fandom space. I don't really explore or am on Tumblr anymore. I actually don't even know my Tumblr login, but I used to be on Tumblr a lot back in college, and I do read a lot on AO3. So we have some great ships to go over, many of which I have explored, some of which I have not. I did wear my anime shirt today because there's a couple different anime ships on this list, so I thought that would be appropriate. Okay, iconic and popular ships, tier list maker. Again, Coley does things. Coley made this list, including the categories here on the side. So here we go. We have the first one on the list is Merthyr. That is Merlin and Arthur. This is from the Merlin BBC TV show, which I have seen, and I have certainly read and explored various Merthyr story on AO3, and I will say this is definitely an OTP baby. Next on the list is Samfro, Frodo and Samwise from The Lord of the Rings, and I ship it or it's an OTP. I think I'm gonna go with I ship it. I really enjoy seeing content like when it comes up, especially like fan art and stuff like that, but I don't seek out fan fiction about them. So that's probably where I'll make this divide between these two categories. Next we have Malik, which is Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood. This is from Cassandra Clare's series. I think there's two different series that they're in. Possibly starts with the Infernal Devices series. I have not read any Cassandra Clare. I know, don't cancel me. I never got in. I think I might have tried City of Bones when I was in high school, but I never got into it, and I never continued with the series, and I want to, like, Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood is the main reason why I am interested in reading the series that they are from. So if you want to rec me below, like where I should start with regards to this pairing, do I need to read the original trilogy or can I just look up a summary? Like, let me know down below because I'm interested, because this is something where I can definitely see the appeal. I like it conceptually. I just don't know the original, and it's hard to explore the fandom without knowing anything about the original. So next on the list, we have Reylo. This is from the new Star Wars trilogy, the latest Star Wars trilogy. This is Rey and Ben Solo or Kylo Ren. My feelings are divisive about Reylo. I hated it after episode 7. I did not like it. I was not into it. All the Reylo fans that came out of episode 7, like, I hear you, I see you, but I just did not like it. I did not like Kylo Ren in episode 7. Then episode 8, about halfway through episode 8, I was like, oh. And then at the end of episode 8, I was like, oh. And then episode 9, I was like, okay. So those are my feelings for Reylo. How do I put this? I like them when Rey is in charge. How about that? That's what I can say about that. Oh my goodness, no. I'm gonna put it in I can see the appeal and I like it most of the time. Next we have Drarry, so some Draco Malfoy Harry Potter. This is one of my first ever pairings that I ever got into back when I was like 13 and started reading and writing fanfic. I actually recently went back and reread some of my very early fanfic, and oh boy. But I will say that yes, I would call them an OTP. I still occasionally reach for some Drarry stories. I'll also say, I'll put this up here just in general to say that like Harry and any Slytherin is my go-to. If I'm going to read some Harry Potter fan fiction, which, Harry Potter, but if I'm going to read some Harry Potter fan fiction, it's gotta be queer. I've been reading a lot of like trans character Harry fan fiction, whether that's, speaking of the next on the list, Wolfstar, Remus, Lupin, and Sirius Black. I've read a couple Wolfstar with like trans Remus or trans Sirius, which like, you know, gotta reclaim our fandom. I'm a pretty big multi-shipper when it comes to Harry as a character, and I do quite like Wolfstar. I will say my caveat is I'm not a big Marauders fandom fan. I just have never enjoyed Marauders era stories, but I like Wolfstar in like post Marauders era stuff. Second chance romances are one of my favorite tropes, and Wolfstar has the ability for that. So I like Wolfstar later, just not in Marauders era. So anyway, moving on. Oh my gosh, I just noticed how messy my part is. We're moving on. Victory! Victor and Yuri. This is from Yuri on Ice. Is a really fun anime, a figure skating anime, and I quite love it. I've seen it all the way through twice. I actually watched Yuri on Ice as it was coming out, you know, with everyone who was there in the initial sort of like trying to figure out what was going to happen, and the pairing of Victory. We were all very hesitant about it. We were hesitant if they were going to queerbait us or what was going to happen with it in the canon of the show, and happy to say that for the most part they didn't, and it's amazing, and we love a good canonical queer relationship in anime, and I will say I ship it. I've read a couple fanfics, a number of fanfics, I will say. Dynamic wise, they're not my favorite pairing. Their relationship dynamic is not like my favorite in the world, but I enjoy it for the most part, so I ship it. Next we have these three that are from Boku no Hero, My Hero Academia, which is another anime that I have seen. I'm not caught up at all. I just need to read and catch it up. When it comes to like watching anime, I fall behind really easily, but when it comes to reading manga, I catch up pretty fast, so that's what I need to do with this fandom. But I have certainly read a lot of Boku no Hero fan fiction. I quite like the fandom on AO3. It's got a lot. It's one of the best ones if you're interested in not just like romantic fan fiction. If you want some gen fan fiction, the Boku no Hero, My Hero Academia fandom has quite a lot in that category, so it's great for that. Also great for some great romantic fanfiction too. But this is sort of the three most popular pairings in that fandom. We have Totodeku, BakuDeku, and Kiribaku. I'm a BakuDeku shipper. I'm sorry to say, don't cancel me. I know they're dynamic. If all you've seen is the beginning, season 1, like, oh, it's bad. It's not healthy. It's not good. I'm not a Bakugo like apologist. He needs to mature and make a lot of amends before we can get anywhere healthily. But I'll say, like, as their relationship develops throughout the series, from what I've seen and from what I know continues to happen, like, ooh, I love this pairing. Totodeku, I can see the appeal. I like it. I'm not against it, but I will say I ship them more as like platonic soulmates, best friends, whatever you want to call it. I don't love their dynamic in terms of a romantic ship, but I love their dynamic in terms of friends. Same with Kiribaku. I can see the appeal. I love the like Wolf and Red Riding Hood Halloween outfits with them. Like, I think it's cute, but I much prefer them as best friends. I much prefer Kirishima as Bakugo's like right-hand man in terms of their dynamics, and less so as their romantic dynamic. So next we have Bumblebee. This is from Ruby, and I have only seen, I think, the first 3 seasons of Ruby. I did cosplay Blake Belladonna at one point, and I do really like, I will say I ship it. Like, I like Blake and Yang for sure. They were my favorite ship in Ruby when I was part of that fandom. And I just am not caught up. Karasumi, which is from Legend of Korra, I have not seen. I have seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. I just have yet to find the time to watch Legend of Korra. I do love that this pairing exists. Like, it's so exciting to me that it's canon, but I don't know them. So I can see the appeal, I like it, but I don't know them. Next we have Klaine, throwback from Glee. I remember back when Klaine was big. It was like one of the only canonical queer pairings we had in any sort of major TV show. So that's, I think, why it was big. I will say I'm indifferent to it. I read stories back when it was big, partially because they were some of the only ones out there that you could read that were queer. But I never really cared for them as characters or for their relationship dynamic. It was just kind of whatever to me. Juraskier. Is that how you say that fandom name? This is from The Witcher. I have seen The Witcher. I also know the story of the games, and have read the first book of the book series, which, if you guys don't know, the Witcher TV show, the first season, is based off of the short story series, which is like a prequel to the 5-book series, which is a prequel to the games. I will say I ship it. I have read a number of stories between Geralt and Jaskier. It's funny because I did not particularly like Dandelion in the games as a character, so it was initially very weird to me that that was like the ship from the show. My favorite couple in this universe, I think, is probably a spoiler for anyone who has not played Witcher 3, so I won't say it. It's not Yennefer. I like Yennefer as a character, but my favorite couple is something from The Witcher 3, and probably will never become a thing in the show, unless the show goes on like quite a long time. Kagahina and Iwa, these are from Haikyuu, which is a volleyball anime. I like Haikyuu. I don't love Haikyuu. It is not my favorite sports anime. My favorite sports anime is Kuroko's basketball, Kuroko no Basket. I have so many ships that I adore from Kuroko no Basket. Haikyuu's fine. I really, really like Iwa. I will say they are my OTP from Haikyuu. And I've read tons. I have cosplayed them. I have seen all the like fan art. In fact, my lock screen on my phone used to be an Iwa art piece. I love Iwa. Kagahina is fine. I see the appeal. I like it. Read a couple things. They're fine. Next we have Naruto, one of my first fandoms, a fandom I still go back to. I love Naruto. I cosplay Naruto. I've been cosplaying Naruto as a character since 2010. Wow. I was a huge Sasunaru shipper back in the day. Like, it was my OTP. So I think for the memories, I have to say, and I still will read Sasunaru stories. I love them. Sasuke in canon goes in a poor direction, and I'm not into it, but AU's, canon divergence, fix it fix, all of that stuff, like, I just love Sasunaru. Sasu, girl, you deserve better. It's not for me. However, it's not on this list, but I do quite enjoy Sasunaru Saku, the three of them together also. So, Sasunaru and Sasunaru Saku, those are my OTPs in that fandom, for sure. Ereri, which is from Attack on Titan, Eren and Levi. I also cosplayed Levi. I have cosplayed Levi in the past, but in terms of back when I was more into this show and this fandom, my OTP was Levi and Erwin. I prefer their dynamic much more than Levi and Eren. I can see the appeal. I've read a couple stories. It's not like I'm against it. I just prefer Levi and Erwin. Okay. Bellark and Klexa. These are from the show The 100. I have not seen The 100. I am aware that it ends with bury your gaze, which I do not appreciate. I was going to watch it until that happened, and then I was like, I am not going to watch it anymore, which is sad because these are two of the most popular female-female pairings in fandom. I have no point of view on which is better, or I don't know their dynamics at all, so I will say I'm indifferent to them, but I appreciate that they exist because more lady pairings. Speaking of Swan Queen, I watched a couple episodes of this show, and Swan Queen is fine. I can see the appeal. Again, partially because I love the ladies together, but dynamic-wise, they're not my favorite. So, moving on. Lawlight from Death Note. One of my original fandoms. Also, Misa actually was the very first character I ever cosplayed back in like 2009. It's been a long time since I've been cosplaying, and not that I've cosplayed recently because pandemic. But Lawlight is one of my original OTPs, and I will never forget my feelings for them. Okay, now we're getting to a section here of real person fiction, RPF. RPF is a very, there's a lot of conversations around RPF in fandom, and I certainly understand, I understand the appeal of RPF, and I also understand why RPF can be very harmful and problematic. So I see both sides. As Coley said when she made this video, because of course, like, when she chose all these were based on just what are the most popular pairings. So you can't exclude these pairings because they are, like, some of the most popular pairings on the internet. Larry, I am indifferent for. I enjoy One Direction songs, but I was never a huge One Direction fan, so they're fine. I hope that Louis is doing well as a real person. Now we have 3 BTS pairings. BTS is one of my homeboys. I love them, and I do quite enjoy watching like their various like fun videos that they make and seeing their dynamics, the personas they put on, and the dynamics that exist. Gosh, I'll say I don't have big opinions about pairings. If I do read BTS fanfic, I prefer like OT7, like just the boys all together being like a family stories. So none of these like speak to me, I would say. So I'm gonna put them all in indifferent as well. Next we have Phil and Dan. I am a huge fan, like not fan as in the pairing, but fan as in their channels. I watch them all the time. When they both came out, I was super supportive, but also like I do find this a very interesting thing because like people were shipping them for a long time before they came out, and I can tell, I think most of their fans can tell that it's something that they want to be more private about whether or not they are in a relationship. I mean, they've come out to say that they are soulmates. Whether that is platonic or not is something that I don't really think they have fully said. You can make assumptions one way or the other, but it's rude to them because they don't want, it doesn't seem like they want people to speculate on it. For that reason, it's not for me, because I respect them as people, and I know it's not something that they approve of, which these 4, like, I don't know if the real people involved in these, like the real One Direction band members and BTS, I don't think they have read, or there's no evidence that I have seen that they have read or explored the like shipping side of their fandom, so it doesn't bother me as much. This one bothers me because I think it bothers them from what I've seen. Though they are both, I don't think either of them have said they don't like the fandom. I don't know. I think that it's just complicated. Moving on, we have Dream Not Found. Now, this is the final RPF pairing, and unlike all the other ones, Dream and George, in fact, both like know of the fandom, have read some stories, and have said they don't mind the shipping. So in that way, it gives like people, it gives me more comfort in shipping them or shipping their personas, because like they're cool with it. They think it's cool that their fans are being creative and doing this, and I think that's really cool. And I think in general with RPF, it's better to ship RPF when the, you know, real people like approve of it. So Dream Not Found, I ship it. I enjoy it. Dream Not Found is also, if y'all don't know, the most popular pairing on AO3. Like, there are Dream Not Found stories that are the most kudoed, most liked stories on AO3, period. It's crazy how popular this pairing is. I only found it recently as a fandom. It's Minecraft fandom. They're Minecraft YouTubers, but their dynamic is fun. The stories are great, and the fact that they approve of people shipping them, I'm like, that's cool. And there's a lot of really amazing work done in their fandom, like a lot of really amazing fan art, amazing like animations, amazing stories, just some really good art being done in the Minecraft SMP fandom, and I enjoy Dream Not Found. I do. Moving on, we have Skulder, Fox and Scully from the X-Files. Never saw the X-Files. I think I saw a couple episodes, so I'm indifferent to them. It's fine. I assume they're cute, and they're an early, like, fun canonical pairing. So, you know, good for them. Next we have Thilbo, which is Thorin and Bilbo from the Hobbit series. They are an OTP. I care. I read all the fix-it-fix. All the fix-it-fix. Next we have Rosemary. I believe this is from Homestuck. Never read or got into Homestuck, so I'm indifferent to them. I just don't know them. Next we have Mordecai. Mordecai and Twilight Sparkle. Okay, moving on. Pokemon. Rocket shipping and Poke shipping. Oof. My childhood. I love both of these. I love Jesse and James. As Coley said, they are like the bi couple, like, icons. And I love them. I love how they both play with gender, and I love their dynamic and their relationship, and they are an OTP. I love them. I just love them. Poke shipping as well. I will say, of all of the potential ships with Ash, Misty is like the ship of my heart. Like, if Ash were allowed to grow up in the Pokemon universe, him and Misty should get together. But, you know, Ash is perpetually like 10 years old. So that's its own issue. I would say I ship it. I think I get more excited about rocket shipping things when I see them than I do about Poke shipping things, but I do ship Ash and Misty. I have, in fact, cosplayed Misty and done some Ash and Misty, like, Photoshop sets. I enjoy them. Now we have Jelsa. This is from the days of the, what was it called? The Rise of the Brave Guardian, something like that. It was a internet created universe that was Brave, Frozen, the Rise of the Guardians, and Hiccup's story, How to Train Your Dragon. It's a lot of fun. Like, when it was big, I found the concept of it to be really fun, and I find the concept of Jelsa to be really fun. One of my good cosplay friends was really into this and cosplayed it all the time, and I thought it was super cute. So I'll say I ship it. I like it. It's fun. Moving on, we have Janaris, Jon Snow and Daenerys from Game of Thrones. Incest pairings are just not my favorite, for sure, which is actually one of the reasons I didn't like Reylo as a pairing back when the first, just episode 7 was out, because I was convinced after episode 7 that it was going to turn out that they were like twins or siblings, or otherwise related. I did consider maybe they were cousins, because I thought maybe Rey was like Luke's daughter and various things like that. When it comes out that they are not siblings, that's when I became more okay with that pairing. Janaris, it's the opposite. They are like related. Aunt and nephew. I do also understand the argument that like aunt and nephew couples or uncle and niece couples historically were not considered as much of a problem, and there are a lot of historical relationships of that kind, so it's not the worst thing in the sort of scope of like the world that it's set in and sort of the history that Game of Thrones is based off of. So I understand, like, I'm not against people who ship them. I get it. I'll say I'm indifferent to it. I don't seek it out. I don't read stories with it. It's just not my thing. I prefer, in terms of Jon pairings, I'm not also a Jonza person, Jon and Sansa, because they're cousins, and also they were raised as siblings. So that one is not my favorite either, even though, again, historically, cousins, like, I understand the Jonza sippers as well, because in this time period, cousins marrying was not inconceivable either. But I will say, if I had to choose a Jon pairing in Game of Thrones, Jon and Marjorie, I think they'd be good together. Yeah. I've also read a couple Daenerys and Sansa stories. Daenerys and Sansa are not related, and that's kind of fun too. So, okay. Also Sansa and Marjorie. All of those. I like all 3 of those pairings. Yeah. Moving on, Nalu, Natsu, and Lucy from Fairy Tail, which is this one, Fairy Tail. They are cute. I never really got into Fairy Tail, so, you know, I can see the appeal. It's fine. Then we have Han Leia, which is another Star Wars pairing from the original trilogy. I think the thing I was most angry about when it comes to the sequel trilogy 7 through 9 was the way they did Han and Leia dirty. I will say that. I'll say I ship them, and I am just sad. I am sad with what happened to their relationship in the sequel trilogy. When I was younger, read through a lot of the Star Wars Extended Universe books, and I loved the series that followed Han and Leia's twins. And I am sad that that's not what they wrote. That's not what the sequel trilogy was about. Sad about it. Still angry. Okay, moving on. Bedward. Bella and Edward. When I read Twilight as it was coming out, and there was the Team Edward, Team Jacob stuff, I will say that the point in New Moon where, is it New Moon or is it Eclipse, where Bella breaks her hand on Jacob's like chest when she tries to punch him or something like that, and he laughs at her. I was an anti-Team Jacob at that point. I was like, Edward has his problems, but at least he supports Bella emotionally more than Jacob does, and I was very much against Jacob. So in that way, like, Bella and Edward is fine. I can see the appeal. I like it. I do not like Team Jacob. I'm not even going to get into Jacob's canonical pairing. Okay. Next on the list, we have Cherrick, Charles, and Eric. This is, we're in the section, you can't see it anymore, it's off the screen record, but we're in the section of Marvel pairings. X-Men First Class, I mean, I had shipped Cherrick as a thing before X-Men First Class. Like, there are a number of instances where, like, honestly, like, Charles and Eric, they are soulmates, tragically torn apart by trauma, and different sort of ethical beliefs. But First Class ripped my heart out into a million pieces, and the number of fix I've read about X-Men First Class. Ooh, I love them. Stucky, similarly, I will say Stony. I shipped Stony when Avengers first came out. I really liked Stony. I read a lot of Stony fics, wrote some Stony fics. So I will say I ship it. But after Winter Soldier came out, Stucky became my OTP, and it is my OTP to this day with regards to Steve. Oh my god, I love Stucky. We'll scroll down a little bit so that you guys can see more. Okay, so we have Peter and MJ, whether this is Mary Jane or MJ from the like new Spider-Man universe MJ. They're cute. I can see the appeal. I've never been a huge Peter, like Gwen, Peter, MJ. They're all fine. But SpideyPool. Oh my gosh. I love their dynamic so much. If they ever interacted in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think I would just die, because I love them so much. They are one of my serious OTPs. I love SpideyPool. Final Marvel pairing is Grocket. Groot and Rocket Raccoon. What is this? I will put it in indifferent. It makes me laugh, but I don't see the appeal. I can't put it in this. Like, I don't see the appeal. I don't understand where this came from. Okay. We'll move down again so y'all can see what's coming. Next we have Sterick from Teen Wolf. I was into Teen Wolf when the first season was coming out. I watched it as it was coming out. I was like one of the first big Sterick like shippers before the fandom really exploded, and I think I only watched season 3, so I'm not caught up with Teen Wolf. I don't know like any of the new characters. I am still furious about what has happened with Scott's character arc. I have a lot of opinions. Back in the day, I was like, Sterick was my OTP 100%. But again, like the way that the character is developed and like, I don't know, Teen Wolf as a fandom, I have mixed feelings about nowadays. So I'll put it in, I ship it. I still occasionally read some Sterick stories, especially some throwbacks from like back when like everything was pure and small and we were like a tiny little fandom, and now I'm like, okay, it's fine. I still ship it. And Styles as a character is just, I love him. I adore him. I do. Next we have the Super Who Locke section. Destiel, I can see the appeal. I have seen some amount of Supernatural. I never got super into it, and I'm sorry that Destiel made Putin resign. What? Yes. Doctor and Rose, I only very vaguely know. I have seen, I think, maybe a handful of Doctor Who episodes across various doctors, so I'm indifferent to them. I'm sure they're cute. Next we have John Locke. There's like multiple different types of John Locke, right? There's John Locke from the Sherlock BBC show, and then there's John Locke from like canonical Sherlock Holmes, and also from like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies, and various other adaptations. Back when Sherlock BBC was coming out, I was a huge John Locke fan. I will say nowadays, I don't really read much John Locke anymore, but I can still, I like it. I see the appeal. I remember when I used to be into it. Next we have Spock and Kirk. Oh, the number of petitions I signed when the new movies were coming out and we wanted to see Spock become canon, because there's a lot of good arguments about how the original Star Trek series pushed a lot of boundaries in TV, and I was and am part of the group that says the new movies should have done the same thing, and they didn't. They just kept the status quo, and that really is annoying. But Spock is one of my OTPs. Like, I have seen almost the entirety of the original series. I've seen all the new movies. I love them. Hanagram. I have not seen Hannibal. I've seen a couple episodes, but I have a really hard time with horror, visual horror especially. Like I get nightmares very, very easily. I cannot watch Hannibal. It's too much for me. However, I know the canon and I read a lot of Hannibal. It's bad. It's one of my most violent OTPs, but I do like it. We're on to the final row. Oh my gosh, how long is this video gonna be? Moving on, we have Clance. This is from Voltron. I did not watch Voltron. I think I watched the pilot episode and I was like, it's fine. I didn't really get into it. A lot of my friends are huge Voltron fans. This one is fine. I can see the appeal. I just never got into canon. Next we have Zelda and Link. Classic. Classic, but I'm indifferent to it because I never really got into Zelda. Started playing like Twilight Princess, was it, on the Wii? I think I got halfway through. That's the only Zelda game I have played any amount of. I own Breath of the Wild, I just haven't played it yet. So anyway, Mary Chat, Marionette and Adrian. I never got into Miraculous Ladybug. I watched a couple episodes as well. It's fine. But I will say, like, I know more about their dynamic. Also, mistaken identity, secret identity stories, like, that's a trope that I really enjoy. So I can see the appeal more with them, for sure. Because the whole super identity thing, and, like, it's fun. Conceptually, it's very fun. Ineffable Husbands, which is from Good Omens. Read the book. I have yet to see the show. It's on my list. I know I want to watch it. I definitely can see the appeal. I might even say I ship it, because I have read some fanfic. I mean, again, I've read the book, so, you know, no spoilers there, even though I haven't watched the show, and I'm pretty sure there's some differences with the show, but I ship it. I think it's fun. It's fun. Next, we have Katadora. This is from She-Ra. I have not seen it. I'm indifferent. I know very little about it. I don't think I've read any fanfic or seen much about them, so. And then we have a category. I know you can't see it anymore because we've, like, lost the, we've lost it on the screen record, but that's okay. We have the category of DC pairings. We went through the Marvel pairings. I am more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan when it comes to, like, the original comics and original sort of storylines. Also the animated, like, I grew up on the animated DC universe. I didn't care much for the animated Marvel universe. Like animated X-Men, I was never as interested in, versus animated Justice League, Static Shock, Teen Titans, like that. Those were my childhood. I have a lot of opinions on DC. I have not seen much of the DC cinematic universe. I mean, I've seen some. It's disappointing. It's not what DC fans wanted. I have not watched much of the TV shows for the same reason. It's just everything's too dark. I want my fun animated DC, not like my dark, gritty DC. So next on the list is Elicity, which is from Arrow, Green Arrow. They're cute. I can see the appeal, but never got in the original. So. And then we have Clois. I would say I'm indifferent to them, unfortunately. I don't know. Lois is okay, but I've never really shipped them at all. Now we have one of my OTPs. Is it an OTP? Maybe I just say I ship it. I ship Harvey Ivy. Harlivy? Is that what it's called? Harley Ivy is like, love them. But I guess I don't really seek out like fanfic about them. So maybe that'll keep it in the shipping category instead of the OTP category. And then we have Super Corp. This is from the Supergirl show, which again, I have not seen. I can see the appeal. Again, I like ladies. I like ladies being who they are. Like, that's great. It looks like Superman and Lex Luthor are not on this list, but I certainly do enjoy and have read a number of Superman Lex Luthor stories. Is that called Super Lex? It might be. And so in that way, like, I can definitely see the appeal of them, because it's like Superman and Lex Luthor, except the female versions, kind of. So like, that's great. Next we have Batcat. I do ship it. I quite enjoy it. I have read a number of stories. I like them in the canonical universes where they get together. I like them. I like Selena Kyle as a character a lot, and I think that she is a good foil for Bruce Wayne in versions of Bruce Wayne. There's one of my favorite fanfics ever is a story that I believe is Dark Knight universe, Bruce and Selena, that involves them like picking up and adopting like all of the various Robins, you know, Dick and Tim and Jason and all of them. And that's just, ooh, it's one of my favorite stories ever. And seeing Selena be a mom to the Robins is like a fun concept for me. In general, I would say if I had to choose a favorite DC pairing, to like absolutely Bat Fam, not as a pairing, just as like a thing, Bat Family is like one of my favorite things ever, and I love it so much. And I am still sad that we have not gotten like a legitimate Bat Fam adaptation. I need it. I need a good Bat Fam adaptation. Next on the list is Superbat. I think I'm gonna put it on the same category as Batcat. I have read and enjoyed Superbat stories. My favorite Superbat stories are ones that involve Clark, like, becoming a second father to the Bat Fam. So, in general, I just like Bat Fam stories, and that's, if the pairings help with the Bat Fam, then I like it. The final one, we're on to the final one on this list, is Wongshon. This is from The Untamed. The Untamed is one of my favorite shows / books / universes like ever. I got super into it over the pandemic. I have now seen The Untamed all the way through 4 times. I'm on my 5th watch right now. It's kind of sad. And I have so many various OTPs in this fandom. But of course the main couple, the canonical queer couple main characters, which is Lan Wangji and Wei Wuxian, or Lan Shan and Wei Ying, they're great, and their relationship in the show / book is amazing, and I love them, and they are fully and 100% an OTP. So I hope you enjoyed this. I will link the tier list down below if you want to make your own version of this video, or if you just want to like link your, version of the list in the comments so I can see what everyone's favorite pairings are of the most popular ships. That would just be a lot of fun. So thank you again for coming by. Thanks for all my new subscribers. As always, I have links in my description to causes that need your support. So please, please, please go check out those links. Give your support if you can, whether it's sharing these causes or donating or anything you can do. Please check those links out in my description. And I look forward to chatting with y'all in the comments.